For the next 100 battlegrounds, I'll be queuing only at Earthy Base Inn and Deepwind Gorge, and I'll be walking straight into the enemy base, right in front of their eyes, and capture their node. How many players will be in fact AFK while pretending to defend? By the end of these 100 battlegrounds, you will just see how many AFK defenders were hiding in plain sight. And who knows, it might even be someone you have played with before. And on top of that, we will stumble into an achievement boosting group that I definitely wasn't expecting. This is our first battleground. The enemy has already captured this base, and their defender is walking away from it. In cases like this, there's usually a stealth class guarding the flag. But just in case, let's check. And there it is. I'll step away for a moment and come back. Same setup as before, so the druid should definitely still be here. Instead of making noise, I'll try to quietly take the flag. First battleground, and we've already found our first AFK defender. All results from this experiment will be tracked using the Reflex add-on. For the second match, I'm heading straight to the farm. And right at the start, we already have a warlock sitting on the ground. Smells like AFK to me. And yes, he was. He doesn't even notice the flag being taken for a long time. I mean, what was he doing? Maybe he was watching Overgear coaching tutorials, which has more than 660,000 users and 4.9 rating in Trustpilot. Their coaching is done by rank 1 players or celebrities, so hey, at least he's trying to improve, just not right now. This priest looks suspicious too. Never mind, he is actually alive. But let's test it again. Second battleground, we've already caught 3 AFK defenders. Round 5, I've noticed a priest defending the farm who looks suspiciously inactive, so I kept testing him. However, it turned out he was actually defending properly. At the very end though, he either gave up or possibly went AFK because he eventually allowed the base to fall. I'll leave this judgment to you. Let me know in the comments. In round 10, I was able to bust a priest who were enjoying the sightseeing at Quarry. The priest looks completely unsure of what he's doing, and moments like this really show how much the small details matter in PvP. Positioning, timing, and cooldown management. These tiny decisions often decide the fight. That's where Overgear can make a big difference. Whether you want arena coaching, mystic guidance, or a full VOD review, having someone experienced analyze your gameplay can accelerate improvement faster than any guide. With a coach, you can focus exactly on what you want to work on. Every session is built around your personal goals. They also support other games beyond WoW, like Diablo and Fellowship. Big thanks to Overgear for providing a platform that genuinely helps players improve. Round 11, a rogue assaulted farm, so I went over to take it back. At first, I thought he had simply capped the flag and left, but that wasn't the case. He was just distracted. A little later, I tried again, and it worked again. This rogue loses focus far too often. Not long after, I headed to market and attempted to capture the base, right in front of this priest. But it wasn't the priest who was the issue. There was another druid standing there, also looking away and doing nothing. This round was a jackpot. In a single battleground, I identified 4 AFK defenders. Round 12, even when a hunter looks fully alert in a battleground, give it a little time, and their guard eventually starts to slip. Round 13. Market is one of the key strategic points in this battleground. You should never leave a location this important in the hands of players who let their guard down. Round 14. This warrior is jumping around, trying to look like he's not AFK, but when it comes to the actual job of guarding the base, he seems to have forgotten the most important part. Round 16. Even when several players appear to be defending, you can't relax. Sometimes everyone trusts that someone else is paying attention, and in the end, all of them turns out to be AFK. Round 20, the same druid from the previous match is defending this base again, but this time, will he actually stay alert? As for this evoker, I'm not really sure whether he stepped away for a moment or simply has trouble paying attention. Round 21. This paladin seemed wide awake when fully committed to defending the base, but all it took was a single moment and he let his guard slip. Round 22, this mage is studying the map carefully, trying to take a broad, strategic view of the battleground. But when it comes to the crucial micromanagement right in front of him, he falls a bit short. Round 25, walking straight into a barrage of enemy spells was a bit of a risk. But if I stay close to this training dummy, maybe the enemy won't notice me at all. Round 26. In the past, whenever I saw enemies standing on the edge like this, I used to knock them off before taking the base. But now I've realized I didn't even need to. Round 29, I managed to capture the lumber mill without shedding a single drop of blood. But it wouldn't be fair to call the defender AFK. This one was simply good luck on my part. Round 30, even the strictest defenses will always have a moment of weakness. Round 32, I've run into the same druid once again. Let's see if he's paying attention this time. Round 37. When capturing a flag, it almost feels like overlapping my character with the enemy's model increases the success rate. Round 38. This is what happens when you play a little too cautiously. Round 39 felt like a cum stump. Round 40, watching stable from lumber mill can be entertaining, but you still can't afford to look away. Round 45, I thought the base was completely empty, but it turns out that a hunter was just dozing off there. Round 46, as a rogue, there's no greater joy than slipping into a key enemy location and stealing it right out from under them. That concludes my first 50 battlegrounds on the Alliance side. During those matches, I identified a total of 38 Horde players who were AFK while pretending to defend. So now the question is, what about Alliance? For the remaining 50 battlegrounds, I'll be queuing as Horde to see how many Alliance AFK defenders we can find. Round 54, the moment I saw this druid, I could immediately tell he was AFK. Round 57, the hunter left, trusting the mage to hold the base. but I doubt he expected the mage to be AFK. But after round 57, something unexpected happened. For the next 7 matches in a row, I couldn't find a single AFK player, not even one. The Horde certainly didn't behave like this, so it makes you wonder, are Alliance players really this decent? I've always believed there was no real difference between Horde and Alliance players, that any perceived gap was just bias, and that player behavior was the same regardless of faction. But after what I have seen so far, I'm starting to wonder if I might have been wrong. Round 72. At first glance, this hunter looked like he was using camouflage, but in reality, he had simply gone to sleep. Round 74. This hunter had set up his trap perfectly, but even after the prey escaped from it, he still didn't return to his post. Round 77. When I captured the gold mine, I thought it was just an empty base and wasn't planning to count it. That is, until I discovered a priest hiding inside, clearly AFK and completely unaware of what was happening. This hunter seems to have fallen asleep far too comfortably, deep inside the bushes. It looks like an empty base, but there's actually a priest standing right there, asleep on his feet. I suppose the last bus doesn't count, because this priest wasn't AFK. He simply didn't know how to stop capping. Round 86. Even a diligent dwarven paladin has moments when his focus slips away. Round 87. The enemy is celebrating a huge victory at the lumber mill fight, but they still don't realize that capturing a base is easy. Defending it is the real challenge. Round 90, this warrior stands proudly on guard, looking confident and alert. But for all we know, he might have just been dozing off on his mount. Round 91, when a rogue slips into stealth, It doesn't always mean they're preparing for strict vigilance. Sometimes, it simply means they're stepping away from the keyboard. Round 94, a warlock and a paladin aren't exactly natural companions, so perhaps it's no surprise that both of them were staring off into the distance, paying attention to everything except the base they're supposed to defend. Round 95, I almost feel bad. It seems that I've just woken up a priest who was sleeping quite peacefully. Round 96, it looks like this paladin said something to the Death Knight, and whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it wasn't a compliment. Round 97 is where I first encountered this achievement boosting group. Watch closely, the Alliance isn't trying to stop this rogue Dizzy at all. They let him capture the base without any resistance. And when I kept interfering with their routine, they moved their stage over to farm instead, and from there until the end of the game, they intentionally captured and released the farm over and over again. Round 97, I encountered the same group again. This team of 5 players made sure I couldn't get anywhere near the stable. No matter where I moved, they followed me precisely, even tracking my stealth positions, as if someone were constantly calling out my location. Judging by their movements, it seems clear that Dizzy the Rogue was feeding them information the entire time. A paladin, 2 druids, and this rogue. There's no doubt that these 5 were working together as a group. Based on what I've observed, my best guess is that they were most likely boosting one of the Aridity Basin achievements that involves repeated base captures. But I'd like to hear what you think as well. It's actually sad that they need to team up to accomplish random BG achievements. And with that, the 100 battleground experiment is complete. In total, I was able to bust 60 AFK defenders, 38 on the Horde side and 22 on the Alliance side. Horde clearly had far more AFK players. Perhaps that's one of the reasons the Horde continues to feel like the weaker faction in battlegrounds. So the takeaway from today is this: always keep an eye on the AFK players around you. They might be the real reason your team is losing.